from left my work. I'm trading my wings for a pair of welding gloves. Today I'm going to talk about why I traded my wings for a pair of welding gloves and my journey to becoming a welder. Welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Lexa. I'm an artist, welder, and former flight attendant. So if you saw my previous video about why I quit being a flight attendant, then you know that I wasn't being challenged enough as a flight attendant, and I knew it was not my lifelong career. I wanted to work with my hands, and as an artist, I have this deep internal inclination to be creative and to do my art. If I go too long without doing my art, quite honestly, I just feel dead. I just feel like I'm kind of existing and not living. So as an artist, I don't have a choice. I have to be creative. It's what I was made to do. So during the pandemic, when I was still a flight attendant and I was on a leave, I dated this guy briefly. One night we were watching this show called Forged in Fire. It's a knife making metal competition show. And my ex, he says, a lot of people don't know this, but with welding, you're actually working with electricity. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that. The only thing I knew about welding was that you weren't supposed to look at it. When I was a little girl, my dad would be welding in the yard and he would tell us, do not look at this. Do not watch me welding because it's going to burn your eyes. So I knew you weren't supposed to look at it. So my ex, he also says, also, women make better welders. And I was like, what? I did not know that. I had never heard that before. And I didn't know, there's so many things you don't know that you don't know. And my knowledge of welding and the trades and women being in the trades was zero. I knew nothing. So I started doing all this research on the computer, and I was looking up women welders, women in the trades, and what's it like being a welder. And I was reading that welding is very rewarding and you can make great money. And I decided I'm going to try welding, and if I like it, then I'm going to find a school to go to. So my brother, he showed me how to stick weld, and I immediately fell in love with it. I was like, oh, I can definitely see myself doing this. Then my dad, he taught me how to MIG weld, and I was like, okay, I like this. I want to do this. And so I found a school to go to. I ended up going to Georgia Trade School in Ackworth, Georgia. It's an excellent school, excellent program. And if you want to go to a trade school, I highly recommend it. This school, actually, people come from all over the United States to go to this school because it is highly rated. I mean, you could look at the reviews on Google and just see, like, it is an awesome, awesome school. I went through the program. It was great. And one day, my instructor, he told me, he said, there have been 2 women to come out of this program with great potential, and you're one of them. But he said, I want to let you know, as a woman, you will face adversity in a male-dominated field. And I really appreciated that he told me that. I did face some adversity in the field, and I'm going to get to that a little bit later. So my first job out of welding school was at this big company. When I started working there, it didn't take too long before I kind of started feeling like, I don't know if this is a place for me. I started seeing different things, and a lot of people in the company, they would just complain about the company. And I just thought, why do y'all still work here if y'all hate it so bad? And I still don't understand that. I mean, I guess some people feel like they're stuck, and I guess some people, I don't know. I guess everyone's life circumstances are different, but I don't ever want to be stuck working somewhere that I absolutely hate. I did decide to quit after 2 weeks because I didn't want to get too far into the job to where then I really felt stuck when I just knew, like, I didn't fit in with this place. I just knew, like, me and corporate we don't go together. And they also require mandatory overtime, which I'm not trying to work 6 days a week like that. No, wasn't for me. And so my shop foreman, when I was quitting, I felt really bad, and I was having a conversation with him about it. And he said, listen, between me and you, I think you're making the best decision of your life to go ahead and leave. He was right. Leaving, it was a great decision for me to just go ahead and leave. There was a fab shop that I was interested in working in. I go there and apply for a job, and they have me do a blueprint test. I passed the blueprint test. I made 100. They tell me they're going to schedule me for a welding test, that they would call me and schedule me for a welding test. So I said, okay. So the next day, I wait all day long, and they didn't call me. So the next day, I call them and I say, hey, just wondering when were y'all going to schedule me for a welding test? And the lady said, oh, let me go talk to him in the shop and let me call you back. Well, she didn't call me back. The next day, I just decided to go up there because what if they don't want me to work there? All they're going to do is tell me no. I literally have nothing to lose. This time when I go up there, I bypass the office. I don't even go into the office. I go straight into the shop, and I knew what the shop foreman looked like because I had looked this company up on Facebook. And so I go straight to the foreman and I said, I've been waiting for you to call me. And he said, I wasn't going to do that today. And it wasn't until 2 months later at my review that I learned they were never going to call me back. So anyway, they gave me the welding test. I did good and they hired me. 2 months later at my review, it was the foreman that was going to call me back, and it was the man who owned the company. And the man who owned the company, he told me, he said, I was not going to hire you because you're a woman. And my experience working with women is that they can't pull their weight. And this man, he retired from the pipe fitters union. During his time in the union, he had to carry heavy pipe up a ladder. And I don't know if you've ever tried to lift pipe. Pipe can be deceiving because it is so heavy. Some of it is just incredibly heavy. And women physically could not do it. He wasn't going to hire me. But he told me that because I was so persistent and because I was so smart, that's why I got the job. They thought I was so smart, and I let them think that. Like, I could read blueprints, I could read welding symbols, and some of the guys in the shop couldn't. And I'm not saying that I was smarter than those guys, because I was not. Those guys had way more experience than I had, and they were way smarter than me. And I learned a lot working in that shop. So I worked there for a while, and I learned so much. We built handrails. We would do commercial handrails and also residential handrails that were more decorative. And it was fun. I just learned so much. And I liked working there for the most part. And the guys, they were worried about working with a woman. They thought, oh God, who's gonna get arrested for sexual harassment first? And I enjoyed working with them, and I think they enjoyed working with me too, because I can take a joke and I can definitely dish out some jokes. Like, I'm not the type of woman that gets offended if you look at me. Like, I guess you could just say I'm laid back. I'm very thankful for that experience of getting to work in that shop, and I'm thankful to them for hiring me and allowing me to grow in this field. I ended up getting a job opportunity in New Smyrna Beach for an aluminum job. So I was a little bit reluctant at first to take the job because I did not like working with aluminum. If you've ever worked with aluminum before, you know how different it is than working with mild steel or stainless steel. But I took the job and I ended up loving working with aluminum. Once you learn aluminum, to me, it's a lot easier than the other metals. It's just like a little learning curve, and then it's easier. So I really like aluminum. With this job, I had to build a set of 18 staircases and handrails and platforms. We were replacing these staircases at these condominiums. So with this aluminum job in Florida, I was the only welder. It was me, my boss that hired me, and then my other coworker. And I really enjoyed this job because I would be at work. Like, a lot of times I was in the shop by myself, and I would just have my headphones in, listen to a podcast, and just working all day long building. And it was very enjoyable, like getting in flow state almost. And being a welder, you get to, working with your hands, It is rewarding. I'm sorry I keep repeating myself saying how rewarding it is, but it really is, getting to build things and you get to look back and see what you built. It's enjoyable. That was my journey of, getting into the trades. And there was this girl, this female welder that I worked with, and she ended up leaving the trades because she was tired of working with men. And I want to say something, and this may be controversial to some people. And before you give me a thumbs down on this video or before you X out, hear me out, please. Men and women are not equal. To be equal is to be the same. Men and women have never been equal and we never will be. I think we play equally important roles and we have equally important value in society, but we're not equal because we're not the same. And this female that I worked with, she had this mentality that she didn't need a man. She just, I don't need a man. I don't want a man to help me. She just did not want anything to do with men. And that's what caused her to leave the trades. And okay, let me tell you something. If you think you don't need a man, you don't have to date men. You don't have to have a man personally in your life, but you are wrong if you think that you don't need men. Because who paved the roads that you drive on? Men. Who built the car that you drive? Men. Who built the home that you live in? Men. Who wired your house with electricity? Men. Women make up 5% of the trades. It is a male-dominated field. So yes, before you come at me in the comments, yes, it could have been a woman that wired your house with electricity, but I know you know what I'm trying to say here. Men is what built America. What built, not even America, built this world, honestly. We would not be able to survive without men. And men and women complement each other. When me and my boyfriend are working on a project together, the angle that he's looking at the project is different than the angle that I'm looking at the project. So together, us looking at things different ways, it makes for a more well-rounded project. Like I said, we complement each other and we work well together. I think there should be more women in the trades because of this. Together, we are stronger. And men, we need to uplift them for their strengths. And yeah, there are probably some misogynist men in the trades. In my experience working in the trades, I only experienced one man that was a misogynist. And he just thought that I should be in the kitchen. And that's fine. I mean, I think gender roles are kind of gender roles for a reason because men and women are different and we're both good at different things. I mean, you don't see a lot of men who are secretaries because women are better at being organized and things, I'm not saying that women shouldn't be in the trades. Women should definitely be in the trades because men and women work well together. But this is what my welding instructor was telling me, that I would face adversity in the trades because there are some men that think women shouldn't be there. And I can understand when I worked in that fab shop and I physically could not lift that gas bottle on the back of the welding tank. And so my male coworker would have to stop what he's doing and come do my job for me, which is lifting that bottle up. I can understand that can be completely frustrating. But those men that would stop and help me, that didn't bother any of them except for one man, that one man in the shop that I work with, that he thought I should be in the kitchen. What I'm trying to say is we need men just as much as we need women. And you can't have one without the other. We work well together. And I think that's exactly why we need more women in the trades, because we both bring different views and different strengths to the table. Women may not be physically as strong as some men, But there are some men that they're not that strong either. I got to thinking about this the other day, and I thought we need a men's appreciation day. And so I Googled it. November 19th is International Men's Day. Have you ever heard of that? Because I sure hadn't. And why is that? Why do we not uplift men and encourage men to like embrace their strengths? Like, I just don't understand. I just don't understand that. But men, you are appreciated and you are very needed. And I thank you for all the hard work that you do, for paving these roads and building the truck that I drive, and all the wonderful things that men have done for this society. Thank you. And you are very much needed and you are loved. Sorry to go on a little tangent there, but for women thinking about being in the trades, yes, you may face adversity. Yes, you may face some misogynist men, but you shouldn't let that stop you if you want to become a welder, because you are very capable of doing it. You may surprise some men. That fab shop that I worked in, that they weren't going to hire me, I was the only female to ever work in that shop. After me, they actually started hiring more women. And I think that's a wonderful thing. I feel like I kind of paved the way for more women after me. I just think that's kind of neat. I want to talk about people who are aspiring to be in the trades, because if I could go back, would do some things a little bit differently. When I was in welding school, I had no idea what unions were, and had I known about the unions, I probably would have just gone into a union rather than going to trade school, because for trade school, I paid nearly $10,000 when I could have gone to the union and they would have paid me and trained me at the same time. And with the union, you may work like a month long and then you may have a month off until you're called for another job. And I know someone who is in the union, and he would work a month at a time, and he would travel for work too. So he would work for a month, 7/12s, which is really hard. So for a whole month, he didn't have a day off, but he was making $4,000 a week, and then he'd have a month off. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. And I don't know like a whole ton about unions. So if you know about unions, let me know more about it in the comments. Like, I want to hear your thoughts, and are there pros and cons to the union? Like, from what I see, it seems like union is the way to go. So if you want to get in the trades, type into Google local union, because unions, it'll say local and then it'll have a number attached to it depending on the location. So definitely look up unions. I think it's the way to go. And I'm not saying anything bad about the trade school that I went to. That's an excellent program, and I don't regret going that way. But if I could go back, would do it differently. Is that the same thing as regret? I don't know. Now I have this skill that I can continue to use, and I can make art with it too. Yeah, that's my journey with being a welder, being a woman welder, and it's helped me learn so much. And I'm very thankful. It's just kind of funny to see the way my life has went. And if you have watched my other videos, I've talked about this some, but just like the journey of my life, how everything falls into place and leading me to where I am now. I am exactly where I'm supposed to be. Exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I'm right on time. And if you don't like where you are in your life, this is your sign to go ahead and make some changes so that you can get to where you want to be. Because I say this in almost all my videos, you create your reality. It's up to you. So yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching this video. If I want to hear your thoughts in the comments, especially anybody in the union, please let me know what you think, because you don't know what you don't know. And there's a whole lot that I still do not know. And I'm not trying to sound ignorant about anything. So educate me. Tell me some things. I want to hear from you all. So thank you so much for watching. Until next time, stay tuned, because next week I'm going to be reviewing a welder that a company is sending me. So All right, you guys. See you next time.